The Ganga River, or Ganges, isn't just a body of water, it's the soul of India. Stretching over 2,525 kilometers from the icy peaks of the Himalayas to the vast Sundarbans Delta. This river is a lifeline, a goddess, and a paradox. For millennia, it has nurtured civilizations, inspired poets, and absorbed the prayers of millions. Yet today it battles pollution, overuse, and neglect. In this video, we'll explore every facet of the Ganga, its sacred origins, its cultural heartbeat, its economic might, and the urgent fight to save it. Imagine a river so powerful that its waters are believed to purify sins, yet so vulnerable that its very survival hangs in the balance. From the mythic tales of Lord Shiva catching the Ganga in his hair to the modern-day struggles of fishermen and farmers, this is a story of divinity and human frailty. We'll journey through ancient cities like Haridwar and Varanasi, where rituals unfold 24/7, and dive into the murky reality of industrial waste and plastic choking its flow. But this isn't just a tale of despair. Innovations like the Namami Gange initiative and grassroots movements, led by activists and scientists, are sparking hope. By the end of this series, you'll understand why saving the Ganga isn't just India's responsibility. It's a global imperative. The Ganga begins as a trickle from the Gangotri Glacier in Uttarakhand, 3,900 meters above sea level. Known as the Bhagirathi here, it surges through rugged Himalayan valleys, merging with the Alaknanda at Prayag to form the Ganga. This confluence isn't just a geographic event, it's a spiritual union, celebrated daily by pilgrims who bathe in its icy waters. Over 2,500 kilometers downstream, the river transforms. It carves through the Indo-Gangetic Plain, one of the world's most fertile regions, fed by tributaries like the Yamuna, Ghaghara, and Gandak. These waterways deposit nutrient-rich silt, creating a breadbasket that feeds 40% of India's population. But the Ganga's journey isn't smooth. At Farakka Barrage in West Bengal, it splits into the Padma, flowing into Bangladesh, and the Hooghly, heading to Kolkata, sparking transboundary water disputes. The river's final act is the Sundarbans Delta, a UNESCO World Heritage Site where the Ganga meets the Brahmaputra and Meghna. This labyrinth of mangroves shelters the Royal Bengal tiger and acts as a carbon sink. Yet rising sea levels and cyclones threaten this fragile ecosystem, a stark reminder that the Ganga's fate is tied to our planet's health. To understand the Ganga's cultural weight, visit Varanasi at dawn. Pilgrims chant hymns as they immerse themselves in its waters, believing the river erases lifetimes of sins. This isn't mere ritual. It's a dialogue with the divine. The Ganga is Ganga Ma, Mother Ganga, in Hinduism, a deity descending to earth to purify souls. Her stories are etched in texts like the Ramayana and Mahabharata, where she's both nurturer and destroyer. Festivals like the Kumbh Mela, which draws over 100 million people, turn riverbanks into cosmic theaters. But culture here isn't static. Artists like Bhupen Hazarika compose ballads about the Ganga's majesty, while filmmakers like Gautam Ghose capture its duality. Even in death, the Ganga plays a role. Hindus believe cremation on its banks releases the soul from rebirth. Yet this reverence clashes with modernity. Young Indians today debate, can tradition coexist with sustainability? The answer might lie in reimagining rituals, using biodegradable offerings or digital pujas, to honor the Ganga without harming her. The Ganga is not just a river in Hinduism. It is a living goddess, a celestial bridge between heaven and earth. According to ancient scriptures like the Puranas, the Ganga descended from the matted locks of Lord Shiva to purify the ashes of King Bhagiratha's ancestors, granting them salvation. This myth encapsulates her dual role as both a physical and spiritual cleanser. Every dip in her waters is believed to wash away sins, and millions flock to sacred sites like Haridwar, Allahabad, Prayagraj, and Varanasi to perform rituals, cremate loved ones, or scatter ashes. The Kumbh Mela, held every 12 years at Prayagraj, is the largest religious gathering on earth, drawing over 240 million pilgrims in 2019. Here, the Ganga's sanctity intersects with human devotion on an unimaginable scale, but the river's religious significance transcends Hinduism. In Buddhism, the Ganga Valley was the cradle of the faith. Sarnath, where Buddha delivered his first sermon, lies on its banks. Sikhism's founder, Guru Nanak, meditated by the river, and Jain texts reference its purity. Even Islamic rulers like Emperor Akbar revered the Ganga, calling it the water of immortality. Today, interfaith harmony is visible at sites like Kolkata's Kalighat Temple and Dakshine's War Kali Temple, where devotees of all backgrounds seek blessings. However, this spiritual unity contrasts sharply with the river's polluted reality. Priests in Varanasi now use loudspeakers to urge devotees to stop throwing plastic into the water, blending ancient faith with modern environmentalism. The Ganga's religious narrative is also evolving. Younger generations question rituals that harm the river, such as immersing non-biodegradable idols during festivals like Ganga Dasara or Chhath Puja. Organizations like the Ganga Mahasabha and Art of Living Foundation are promoting eco-friendly practices, such as clay idols and organic offerings. Meanwhile, the Namami Gange program has restored historic ghats in Varanasi and Haridwar, proving that faith and conservation can coexist. The challenge lies in balancing tradition with responsibility, a lesson the world could learn from. The Ganga Basin is an economic powerhouse, sustaining livelihoods for over 40% of India's population. Its fertile plains, enriched by annual floods, produce 20% of India's GDP through agriculture. Staple crops like rice, wheat, and sugarcane thrive here, with states like Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal serving as the nation's food basket. The river's water fuels 90% of the basin's irrigation via canals and tube wells, though over-extraction has led to alarming groundwater depletion. In Bihar and Jharkhand, farmers rely on the Gandak and Kosi rivers, tributaries notorious for catastrophic floods, to nourish their fields, showcasing the delicate balance between abundance and disaster. Beyond agriculture, the Ganga fuels industry and transportation. The National Waterway 1, stretching from Haldia to Prayagraj, transforms the river into a 1,620 kilometers cargo corridor, reducing logistics costs for goods like coal, fertilizers, and cement. Cities like Kanpur and Kolkata owe their industrial rise to the Ganga, though this has come at a cost. Canneries in Kanpur, which produce 10% of the world's leather, discharge 50 million liters of toxic waste daily into the river, contaminating water with chromium and arsenic. Similarly, the Farakka Barrage, built in 1975 to divert water to Kolkata port, has sparked tensions with Bangladesh over reduced flow in the Padma River. Tourism, too, is a critical revenue stream. Spiritual tourism in Varanasi and Rishikesh generates billions annually, while adventure tourism, whitewater rafting in Rishikesh, or Sundarbans, wildlife safaris, attracts global visitors. However, pollution threatens these industries. A 2023 study found that 80% of tourists avoid swimming in the Ganga due to health concerns. Reviving the river's economy demands sustainable models, such as organic farming cooperatives or eco-tourism initiatives led by WWF and UNESCO. The Ganga is among the world's top 5 most polluted rivers, a grim paradox for a river worshipped as pure. Each day, 3 billion liters of untreated sewage from 50-plus cities flow into its waters, alongside 500 million liters of industrial waste. In Kanpur, tanneries dump carcinogens like hexavalent chromium, while in Varanasi, floating corpses and plastic waste create a toxic cocktail. Even the river's famed self-cleaning ability, a high oxygen content that neutralizes pathogens, has collapsed under the pollution load. A 2022 WHO report found 1.1 million deaths annually linked to Ganga waterborne diseases like cholera and dysentery. The crisis is compounded by religious practices. During festivals, millions discard non-biodegradable offerings, plastic flowers, synthetic clothes, and chemical-laden paints from idols. At the Kumbh Mela, 100-plus metric tons of waste are left daily. Meanwhile, dams like Terry disrupt natural flow, reducing the river's capacity to dilute pollutants. Climate change worsens the strain. Himalayan glaciers feeding the Ganga are retreating at 22 meters per year, threatening long-term water supply. Yet solutions exist. The Namami Gange initiative, launched in 2014 with their Rs 20,000 crore budget, has built 160-plus sewage plants and 4,500 kilometers of sewer networks. Innovations like bioremediation, using bacteria to break down waste, and floating trash skimmers are being tested in Patna and Kolkata. Grassroots efforts, such as Clean Ganga Crusaders volunteers removing 10,000-plus of trash monthly, show the power of community action. Legal wins like the 2017 National Green Court ban on waste dumping in Haridwar set vital precedents. But without stricter enforcement and public cooperation, progress remains fragile. The fight to save the Ganga is a mosaic of policy, innovation, and grassroots activism. At the forefront is Namami Gange, India's flagship program, which has allocated Rs 32,912 crores, $4 billion. since 2014 to build 160-plus sewage treatment plants, STPs, and rehabilitate 1,500-plus GATs. Cities like Varanasi now treat 80% of their sewage, up from 30% in 2014, thanks to STPs at Dinapur and Goitha. However, challenges persist. 30% of STPs are underutilized due to power shortages, and 40% of rural households lack toilet access, forcing open defecation. To bridge gaps, the World Bank-funded National Ganga River Basin Project, NGRBP, is piloting decentralized wastewater systems in 97 towns, empowering communities to manage local pollution. Technology is also reshaping conservation. Startups like Pool.co recycle temple flower waste into organic incense and biodegradable packaging, diverting 8,000-plus of waste daily from the river. In Kanpur, chrome tanning-free technology eliminates toxic chromium discharge, adopted by 50-plus tanneries under pressure from the National Green Tribunal. Meanwhile, AI-powered sensors deployed by IIT Kanpur monitor real-time water quality, alerting authorities to pollution spikes. Grassroots innovations shine too. In Bihar, farmer cooperatives use constructed wetlands to filter agricultural runoff, while Ganga Quest, an online quiz by the National Mission for Clean Ganga, has educated 1.2 million youth on river ecology since 2019. But lasting change requires behavioral shifts. Religious leaders like Swami Chidanand Saraswati of Parmarth Niketan Ashram campaign against plastic offerings, while NGOs like Sankat Mukhan Foundation train priests who conduct eco-friendly rituals. In West Bengal, the Jal Doot initiative mobilizes women to test water quality in 200-plus villages. International collaborations add momentum. UNESCO's Biosphere Reserve Program protects the Sundarbans, and WWF's Rivers for Life initiative restores aquatic habitats. While progress is uneven, these efforts prove that saving the Ganga demands a blend of ancient wisdom and modern science and unwavering public will. The Ganga is a mirror reflecting humanity's best and worst. For millennia, it has been a source of spiritual solace, economic vitality, and ecological wealth. Yet today, it stands at a crossroads. Will it remain a lifeline for future generations, or become a cautionary tale of environmental neglect? The answer lies in recognizing that the river's holiness cannot exist without its health. Every ritual, every industry, and every policy must align with the simple truth: a clean Ganga is not a choice, but a duty. The path forward is clear. Governments must enforce stricter penalties for polluters and expand wastewater infrastructure. Industries need to adopt zero liquid discharge models, and farmers must transition to organic practices. Pilgrims and tourists alike should embrace sustainable traditions, from clay idols to reusable containers. Global partnerships, like the Ganga Jamani project with Japan, can infuse expertise and funding. Most importantly, the youth must lead this movement, leveraging social media to amplify awareness. As G.D. Agarwal, the late environmentalist who fasted unto death for the Ganga, once said, "The river does not need our prayers, it needs our respect." The Ganga's revival is not just India's responsibility. As a planetary heritage site and a climate-critical ecosystem, its survival impacts us all. Let this river remind us that reverence without action is empty, and that every drop saved is a step toward redemption. This journey to understand the Ganga would not be possible without the tireless work of countless individuals and organizations. Our gratitude to World Wildlife Fund, WWF, for their Rivers for Life initiative, protecting the Ganga dolphin and restoring wetlands. UNESCO, for designating the Sundarbans as a World Heritage Site and promoting sustainable tourism. National Mission for Clean Ganga, NMCG, spearheading the Namami Gange program's infrastructure and outreach. Ganga Mahasabha, a century-old organization advocating for the river's legal rights. Gudi Consortium, 7 IITs providing technical solutions, from AI monitoring to bioremediation. Local heroes, fishermen, farmers, and volunteers like Malika Banat, Ganga Avan, and Afroz Shah, climate activist. And that, my friends, is another fascinating chapter from the vaults of history. If you enjoyed unraveling the past with us, do not forget to hit that like button. It truly helps us keep history alive. Subscribe to Heretic History and press the bell icon so you never miss a legendary story from time's forgotten pages. You are the seekers of truth, the guardians of knowledge, and the explorers of time. Stay curious, stay inspired, and get ready for another thrilling dive into history, keeping yourself healthy and wealthy. See you in the next journey through time.